These mistakes may hold you back in No Man's Sky Voyagers, but don't worry, I've got you. I'm going to show you how to elevate your Corvette with glitch building, how to farm modules faster than ever, and we also just got a massive patch with some all-awaited fixes. Coming up to number 1, non-structural parts no longer count towards Corvette's complexity limit, meaning that you're finally free to go ahead and decorate your base. This is of course only for the base parts you can apply when controlling your character, and another one when building up the ship via its own terminal. So what this means is that even if you're already at the 100 complexity limit, like how I am in this case with this capital ship, I'm still more than able to place as many decorations inside and also outside, as long as I place those from the character base builder menu. So this is of course something that dropped with today's patch 6.02, which is already out on Steam. It should follow up on other platforms in just a little bit. Also, on a related note, the reason why stuff no longer snaps for you into place in the Corvette builder is because you turned off snap building in the regular base builder. So let me show you how to fix that. Simply exit the ship builder, get close to your ship, and then enter the regular base builder with Z. And in this case, just select any item that is placeable or resizable, and you should now have the option in this case to turn on snapping once again. That's going to be V on the keyboard and mouse, but there's also an equivalent for the controller. And if we go back to the regular ship builder, we now have the possibility to snap things back into place. But let's keep on going, because glitch building is about to really change your Corvette building game up entirely. And that is because now you're going to be able to just build stuff at angles never possible before. And guess what? It's also very easy to pull off. So the gist of it is that any accessory that can be snapped either at the top or on the side of any habitation zone can be used to snap the same habitation zone into completely different angles. So let me show you how the trick is done really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple of these habitation zones, and we're going to use an accessory to place on the side of it, and it will work of the smaller sizes, but I'm in this case going to use the shield module. So if I place it to the side, if I go ahead and then either delete or move the habitation zone from it, you're going to notice that now that accessory just snapped into a whole new different spot. Which means if I go ahead and grab a habitation zone once again, I can now snap it into a completely new position that was not accessible to me prior to this. So much so that now I can actually glitch this part into the previous parts we already had. And it doesn't just stop here. We can actually use these snapping points to just move around any habitation zone and just place these in real time in case you're going with a more complex build. So it's totally possible to get crazy with this, but for the time being, we're gonna keep it simple. So what does this all mean for you? Well, essentially it means you can now combine parts in ways you never could before and get new shapes that weren't really possible. And if you try designing something that's a bit more complex and especially rounded, you already know how difficult that is. Like for example, in the case of the Normandy build from yesterday, we got at least a couple of steps closer, as now I was able to actually get some really cool engine parts going at the angle that I really needed, so that I could get as close as possible to the original. Now, of course, I still need to devise a plan for the front part, but even in this case, I did manage to find a way to actually squeeze in everything and still make the top part rounded. It's just a matter of fiddling around with it, and once the build is finalized for that, we can actually go for something cool. That's why if you're going to see any interesting build out there that's also very unique, chances are that it's been done with glitch building. For example, there's a really popular one right now on Reddit, which is essentially an insect, and I absolutely love this one, so I had to recreate it just to see how it is in game. But shout out to the original user. However, in this case, using the same glitching part, we can go ahead and just set up a really cool sort of vibe over here. It has like the beetle wings in the back, and also we're gonna have a bunch of antennas in just a little bit. But because we have a slight level difference now between our regular hull and also the half level provided by the glitch building, we can squeeze in some stuff in there like reactors, engines, and whatnot. So in this case, it's getting hidden really nicely and gives it a whole different aesthetic, which also kind of gives me the next tip for you. and that is you can totally use, yeah, base parts to complete your build in case something is not available in your regular ship building. So let me give you an example. For this one, we really wanted some insect hands, or well, I guess appendages in this case, but essentially it gives us that really interesting insect look, which just goes so well with the ambassador pilot cabin. So this is the build for it. You can also go ahead and place down the ones that are animated, like in the case of yeah, this pirate ship that yeah, I've been again just playing around with, and I'm having so much fun with it. Which brings us to number 5. Let's say you don't want to bother with glitch building. Well, the next best thing is, like I said in yesterday's video, using triangular parts and stacking them with one another and making use of the horizontal and the vertical flip. In this case, we already saw that it's very useful for something like mech legs if you want to create realistic looking joints and even knees, but it also works similarly with other shapes, including like, I don't know, getting a scorpion tail and whatnot. So in this case, starting just from this, you're going to combine them in ways that basically go from, yeah, just horizontally and then swapping them out. And yeah, just rinse and repeating this in whichever angle or direction you want. If you want it to loop around, it's totally possible. You can likely create even circles out of this. But in this case, I wanted to go with something like a scorpion. So obviously you can just angle this however you see fit. Either higher or lower. You want a bigger tail or a smaller one. Totally possible by just adding a few extra triangles on top. And then you can round up any unnecessary parts, or just delete the ones that no longer make any sense and kind of have the whole mold going on. Give it a try and I'm sure you're going to get the build going. And speaking of building stuff the legit way, you might have skipped on the fact that every single type of habitation zone will have its own different type of window. So the Titan, the Thunderbird, and the Ambassador will all have different types of windows, at the very least for the smallest one, the panel window. So in this case, if you place them, you're going to notice that each one of them goes with its own theme. So the one that is the Titan is a lot more angular and larger. The one that is the Thunderbird is just a round shape, and obviously Ambassador kind of looks like what essentially you would see in Star Wars. But we kept talking about building your ship. You definitely need a lot of modules for that, so let me help you out with this, with possibly the best farming method of them all. Not only does this give you the highest amount, there's a big chance that you're going to get a lot of duplicates out of this, or at least a lot more chances to get a lot more modules, and you never have to even leave your ship. In fact, you're going to be doing all of this straight up from the atmosphere. So in this case, it starts just like before. We're going to first find any planet with salvageable scrap. Just go ahead, scan them up until you find one that lists it at the top. From this point on, descend into its upper atmosphere and pretty much stop over here. You can now exit your pilot seat and simply bring up your scanner. You can actually reveal all of the points of interest on the map while inside of your ship, including of course all of the salvageable scrap that you're going to see around with the yellow icon. Once you found and marked one down, the only thing you have to do is go back into your pilot seat, maybe even first person mode, and start aiming at the ground in its exact position. The moment you do so, you should spot that all of the containers get damaged. If not, go ahead and just attack the earth up until the entire icon disappears. You should even hear that sound playing as you destroy all of the containers. And for some reason, on average, it seems that I'm getting way more of these modules compared to doing it the normal way with my multi-tool. I'm not sure if that's intended or just luck of the draw, but as of patch 6.02, this actually still works. So go ahead, give it a try, and it's going to be much quicker than anything else. In fact, I even have an extra tip for you over here. Go ahead and if you're on the PC, quick bind the exit seat button for your pilot seat. In this case, I quick bind it to 1, and whenever I just destroy something, I'm going to quickly press 1, exit the seat, go ahead back at scanning right away, and basically make this method much quicker than normal. Anyway, on a final note, there is also a lot of good news coming out from patch 6.02, and a lot of the problems with Corvette parts getting deleted have been fixed. So one of them, which was the issue causing deleted flipped parts from a Corvette to refund unusable products to the inventory, that has been fixed, and any currently unusable items can now be reattached to Corvette. So if you had any of those before the patch in your inventory, you're now going to be able to actually reuse them again. Similarly, they also fixed the bug that was causing a lot of players to actually lose modules when trading them at the Corvette workshop. This has also been addressed in 6.02. In fact, a lot of the bugs with installing and removing technologies from your Corvette has been addressed in 6.02. So you're going to have a huge patch list going on right here that you can go ahead and read on the official No Man's Sky website. But of course, this is pretty much it with the video. Let me know down below in the comments if the patch dropped for you. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.